Right, let's do this. Let's hope that for the thing that it's all working and whatnot. Da-da-da. Yep. Right, let's do this. Right, after everything that's happened lately, I feel like it's the time. It's the right time anyway. Hey, Red. This vlog is going to be mainly, well, a lot of it's going to be me being brutally honest about myself, about a lot of other things, and whatever it is, that'll be the end of it once I've done this. That's the way I see it. Okay, so where to start best? Where to start? Let's start with... Right, let's start at the beginning, because that would be the way to do it. I've spent 12 years almost now running from the, shall we say, unescapable fact. And it didn't matter what I did to fool myself to do it. I was just fooling myself into believing that it was gonna get better, which it wasn't. But I needed something that was gonna allow me to believe it did, so I created a set of falseness to be able to do that. And, well, the op that I had was meant to help me walk a few steps, never unaided. But as with so many things in life, it doesn't always work out that way. And unfortunately, after the op, I lost complete feeling in one leg, mostly, and generally blamed people that shouldn't have been blamed for everything that happened. It wasn't fair on them. For the most part, I carry a decent amount of regret because of the fact that the things that I said those days, that wasn't meant to be, and the person that I was at that time wasn't very nice. The person that you guys have all got to know in the streams is a splinter of that person, shall we say. Because there's the me that's high energy, there's the me that you see flirt with Kaya on a daily basis. But that me is the real me that no one else really sees. When I'm flirting with her, it's the one time that the real me tends to show through, because if I'm honest, and damn, this is gonna kill me to say it, but I need to say it. Because of the chair situation, I look at myself as inadequate. I can't see myself as something worthwhile, because there is me, then there is the chair. I've spent the last 12 years running from the inescapable fact of something that, for everything that I try to tell myself, it'll get better, it's not going to. I just treated it as a fool's errand. And I created many masks to play a role, because I got good at playing the role. That's what I'm trying to say. And so now, lately, when I say things and people think that, well, you all know I have a dark humour. It's one of my favourite things. My dark humour is one of those things that gets me through these things. But when people think that, the one thing being a disabled person, and none of you will be able to grasp this to a certain degree, so I'm going to try and say it. And if people take offence to it, then unfortunately it's a bit tough shit, because this is me trying to say it from my perspective. The majority of you, hopefully, touch wood, because I would never wish this on anyone, the majority of you, for the most part, will never be able to truly understand what being trapped in a chair 23 out of 24 hours a day is like. It's me being brutally honest. It's hard for me to say that, and it would be hard for you to hear it, but that is what it is. And the one thing that's the reason I laugh when I post my disabled jokes, and I get a lot of hate for it on Facebook because no one can understand why I find it hilarious, and I do find them hilarious. And even my mother goes, some of those are some close to the mark, but it is what it is. I find those jokes funny because to me it's a humour situation away from the darker side of it. So the days when I wake up and feel like it's a shit day, because it generally is a shit day, it grates on me to a degree because oh, Steve, I'm sorry, dude. And yeah, going back to that, the reason I find those jokes funny is because to me they are funny. To a lot of people, they can't understand why I find them funny. The one thing that a disabled person wishes for more than anything, and I don't know, maybe Steve can relate to this with me. The one thing that we want more than anything is to be treated like a normal person. So that means mostly say whatever joke you want, and I'm not going to get bothered by it. If other people's, I need to try and say this as politely as possible. If other people's sensitivity is an issue, it's not my issue. It it's not my issue because I laugh at the fact that when we said the other day, when I laughed and said to Dada I would rather be shot out of a cannon than be in a relationship with him, and I laughed and went, it's not like I'm gonna feel anything when I get fired out of it. It's because I have to laugh at the fact that I've got only 25% feeling in one leg now. Besides, if you think that's bad, all the jokes I've made since that time were, well, considering the amount of movement left in this leg, I went, if I ended up missing it, I wouldn't have to worry about socks. And that's the type of humour that got me through it. It's the type of humour that allows me to try and put a positive spin on things, shall I say. And for the most part, that's what I have to do. Because goddamn, if I didn't, well, it's not worth thinking about if I didn't. And I was very fortunate in the last 19 months. Because all the people that I've met from that point onwards in the last 19 months, well, heck, if I never met one of them, this would have never have started. Yeah, that's exactly it, Steve. That's exactly it. This is what this whole vlog is about. It's me and you can see the funny side to it. That's the whole darkness of our humor. And even one of our best friends, well, like one of my parents' best friends, she takes the absolute piss out of me. She literally does tear me to pieces. And she's hilarious because she just says things to try and get reactions out of me. And yeah, she would never treat me any different. The way she sees it is, I'm not Brett in the chair, I'm just Brett. And if she would say something to a normal person, then she's gonna say it the same to me. Whether it's about anything. So I'm gonna leave that to your imagination and allow you to think whatever you want to think. But yeah. But no, for if I'm I understand you, Steve. I understand you. But no. Where was I going with that? For the longest time possible, and even my mum will say this, because lol, Shafi. For the longest time possible, even my mum will say, and she's said this often enough, me and her especially, tended to stop saying things because of how they would come across to other people. But as she says, maybe that was the wrong way to bring me up, because there's a difference between being polite and saying what you should be able to say without you having to worry in every circumstance whether you're gonna come across as rude. Now, I couldn't care if you guys sat there and took the piss out of me not being able to walk for days on end. Knowing my luck, I'd probably just laugh at you or join in the joke. Or say, where are my set of robotic legs, you little shits? Or something hilarious, because that gives me the type of thing that I need. But I know for a lot of people at times my humour may come across as very, very... Sure, well... kind of moon darkness, shall we say. Kind of moon darkness. But if it was permanent as opposed to only 6 hours or whatever, 12 hours, however long it is. But they are all coping mechanisms at the end of the day. If I didn't have the coping mechanisms, well, it wouldn't work. And I guess it is what it is. The hardest thing about knowing to do this today was I knew whichever way I would say it, it wasn't gonna What do you mean, Lloyd? What do you mean? But no, in a lot of cases when I thought about doing this today, like I thought about writing down everything I wanted to say. But with me, the hardest thing that you'll ever get out of me is me being dishonest. Because for me to be dishonest, I have to go to a place that doesn't... that 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, they were dangerous times. They were dangerous times. But for me to go to that place and to be dishonest is taking a great deal of self-reflection at myself. It's knowing that not all of you may agree with it, which is the hardest thing. But I can't stop trying to be me in that respect. It won't work. Because if I try to stop doing that, I'm still gonna be running. And that's what it is. I keep running from... When I was in a body house when I was 10, my leg... I know that one, Steve. Steve, I know that one. But no, I can't keep running from what I am. And that's what I have been doing. I need to embrace me and the chair, not try embracing me one day trying to damn it, fuck, I've lost my tracking point. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. More damn it. Right, 1, 2, 3. It's more important that I stop trying to live a fool's dream and start trying to live my realism in that respect. And that realism is I've got to make the best of the bad situation. Because it's not all that bad. I'm a lot better off than a lot of people in this position. But and now I've got to go to a place. Okay. When my parents found out what was wrong with me, when I was diagnosed with CP, the doctors basically said if I made it till when I was 18, it would have been a miracle, for lack of a better word. And sorry, I'm typing something out. Sorry for the lack of word, but that's the best way for me to put it. But they said basically if I made it to that far and I wasn't that, then well, I'd surpassed all the doctor's purposes. And I can't. I need the word as well. And hang on, I need to type something else out. Why did you? I'll talk to him afterwards. I can't do that at the moment. But no, he was deaf because of how because of what happened at that time, Chef, and I can't go into details at this moment. Because of what happened, and I can't go into detail. The things that happened after that ended up. It made it difficult. That's all I can say. And it's not so much I guess the best way of summing it up is he any more in denial than what I am? Because until 19 months ago, I kept dreaming that I was going to go back to the way I was before the op. And yet, if I'd had someone let me type this out and then I'll explain it. Hey Eddie, thanks dude. And if I'd had someone like you at that time to kick me up the arse and tell me to fucking grip, I wouldn't be where I am now, but it's only the same thing me and you have said to each other enough times. I mean, me and you have only come close to absolutely destroying one another once, and that was when it happened. That day I was ready to walk. For no other reason than I wanted to. I've always found it easier to try and work on my own, shall I say, that respect. Since that time and everything that happened, I tried to do everything on my own. Because I got good at that. It was what I got good at. I thought by not letting anyone in, I'd be able to preserve myself, for lack of a better word. That the self-preservation that I went through to try and save myself at that time turned me into a shell. It was a shell where I learned to play a role and block the world out. But Jay, that was the technical term of what the doctors said I would be. I can't be honest and not embrace it if I don't embrace the honesty. And so I didn't call myself a vegetable in that respect, dude. It's me being honest about what the doctors said I was meant to be. That's what it is. And so but trying to run away from the situation is not a good idea. Maybe if I'd actually stood and goddamn, I'm making those standing jokes again. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. If I'd actually stood and faced the thing that I've been running away from for so long, I would be in a better place. And I'm not just saying that there's so many things I'm running from. And that's why it bugs me when people that can walk complain about having to walk somewhere. The one thing I would love for one day per year is the ability to be able to walk around. It's a stupid thing, but it's a thing I would love no less. Because it gives me purpose. It's gonna sound odd, but if I could say the amount of people that throughout my lifetime so far have said it must be the situation, Jay, the situation. Hang on, let me type this out. Hey, Shivu. Well done, Kyle. Well done. You were quick with that. You were quick with that. But no, the amount of people that in my lifetime so far have said it must be really, really easy and really comfortable to be in this chair all that time is something else. I couldn't tell you the amount of number of people that have done that. In fact, there's so many people that have done that. If I had a pound for every person that said that, I would be. Well, I wouldn't have to worry about not having robotic legs. Put it that way. I could buy robotic legs, a set of arms, and some flying equipment. Yeah, I know, Shibu. That's because it's a vlog. Where am I? Trying to get back to the point that I was trying to get at. Steve, this'll make you laugh. Oh wow. Yeah, the numb arse is generally the worst thing. That's generally the worst thing. In fact, that's the reason. That's the reason I would never wish it on any of you guys. For God, for goodness sake, guys, if you guys ended up in my position, you'd be complaining about a numb arse after 8 hours. The fact that I can survive about 12 or 13 is kind of, yeah. And it doesn't matter how much you replace the chair cushions either. It's still because of the fact that you're sitting down all the time doesn't really help. Get an arse massage. Right, now on to the story about the leg. But no, okay, right. Let me tell a story, and then you guys can laugh at the thing. When I was in the first year of uni, my university tutor and a load of the third years were all very hammered at the bar. It was quite hilarious. And I basically got talking about the story, and they asked what was wrong with me, so I told them, and I told them about the leg and not having any feeling in it. And them lot, all being completely and utterly pissed at the time, decided they would all take running decided they would all take running shots at my leg, so they would run up and kick it as hard as possible. Which is hilarious to me. I don't know why I accepted to allow them to do it, but hang on. Let me find the thing that is somewhere so that I've got a reason to. 2 seconds, I'll turn the camera back on and carry on explaining the story. Right, let me carry on and then I'll explain the story. Yeah, you can all attempt to kick the leg. You can all attempt to kick the leg. Right, and basically, oops, hang on. Oh, damn it. I need to try and line this back up. Otherwise the whole quilt's going to be in the background. Right, there we go. And basically what happened was they all ended up that pissed that they basically went, so you've got no feeling in the leg, to which I went, to which I went, about 25% basically, this and this, all these things. And, so I basically went, they can all basically take shots at the leg. Now, here's the funny thing. This is called an AFO. The AFO is meant to keep my leg and my foot straight. Them being so pissed, didn't realise that they were only kicking plastic. And only one of them got close enough to actually being able to they remotely brushed one part of my leg, but I barely felt it. To which they were like, how the can't you feel anything? To which I went, well, that's my surprise, isn't it? I went, I told you I didn't have any feeling in it. Because I really don't have very much feeling in it. I think if someone did actually kick it properly, they'd barely faze me, to be fair. But no, it was one of those funny things at the time. They were all that pissed that if you'd seen them all run to try and kick and then screw it up, it was hilarious. What does AFO stand for? Oh, this'll make you laugh, Shafi. This'll make you laugh. Hey, final. I call them AFOs, but my name for them is called Artificial Flying Objects, Shafi. Because when I throw them, I can throw them like they're hockey sticks. Which meant if someone upsets me, then God forbid if they're if I happen to have taken one of them off to throw them at someone. But no, the actual name for them is let me find the Google thing for it, because I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, we kind of made names up for them. Right, where's the thing for it? There we go. That's the actual name for it. That's the actual name. Yeah, I call them artificial flying objects. That was what I named. That's what I named them. So when I throw them at people, yeah. But basically what they are meant to do is because the way my feet work because of the CP, they're constantly tightening and getting they're turning inwards in a sense. And so when my hashtag headshots. And so when my mum has to put my feet in them, she has to bend my foot up to, I think it's a 30 to 45 degree angle. I can't remember exactly what it is. But basically, since I finished uni, so 3 years ago this June, I've worn them on and off for probably about a month out of the whole year. And so my feet have gradually started to turn further and further inwards. And I have a new set. And for the first time ever, oh, this will make you laugh. My mum's biggest thing when I was younger, because anyone that knows me knows I love crazy colours. Orange, purple. Maybe that's the reason that I like the idea of doing weird drugs things that I'm not going into in the stream. But I always wanted crazy coloured AFOs because they come in purple, they come in orange, they come in things. And this year, because I went to my mum, I'm picking the ones that I wanted. Because she didn't want me to get bullied during junior school, so I always stuck to one particular colour. I went, what designs have you got? And they went Batman, Superman, these, and these. And I got a set of white ones with dragons on. So yeah, if I had them nearby to show you guys, I would show you the design, but no. These ones this year have got dragons on. Shafi cracking LSD jokes in the middle of the. Well done, Shafi. You know me too well. But no, the ones this year, and it's the first set that I've had made brand new in 5 years. Not Skyrim versions, but like Chinese lunar dragons type thing. I don't know if I've got the. Hang on. Let me check something. Yes. Oh damn it! Have I still got the photo? Yes, I've still got the photo. I wonder if it'll let me copy. There we go. That picture should. Yep. That one shows the design of the dragons. You'll know what I mean when I said Chinese lunar dragons now. But that's the design that I got this time around. Yep. But they only come in white when the design like that is done, because if they were put on colour it wouldn't show quite as well. Low final. But no, they're made to keep my feet straight and generally stop them turning inwards, because every year that I get tighter basically, as the muscles basically give way because I'm not walking anywhere, it's gradually just gonna get tighter and tighter. But it is what it is. That's the situation. And for the most part, I'm quite lucky because, yet again, and this is another thing where I don't get along well with doctors because of the fact that when I get told that things shouldn't hurt and they hurt, then I don't believe doctors anymore. But I'm quite lucky in a sense, because when I turned 18, they said my back should have started turning, because sitting down all the time, I'm going to eventually become a hunchback. But I'm lucky because it's only just started, just in the last 6 months, and I'm 24 now, so I'm quite lucky in that regard. I've got away a lot longer than I should have, and if it's only started now, and I'm only getting bad back pain on certain days, I'm doing pretty good. That's another one of those where I prove the doctors wrong. But for the majority of it, I've learnt to cope with things. Like, okay, I'll tell you guys another funny story. Yes, I'm in an electric wheelchair, and yes, I can move the chair to pick items up. And you who knows the story in the background hiding there, don't shout at me for this. And you know who I'm talking to. But the one time when I can, the one time when I feel like I'm actually closest to feeling alive is when I have dropped something on the floor and I have to and I try to pick something up from leaning really far away, and I overstretch to do it because my mum freaks out and thinks I'm gonna headbutt the coffee table, and it's very hilarious because she'll sit there and shout at me and go, "If you smash your head on that table," and I just sit there going, "It's fine, I'm gonna survive it," and it's one of those things. I don't fear falling out the chair. In fact, as long as I roll one particular way, I don't fear it. Hey Nirvana, or Sephiroth, whichever name you're going by now. But I don't fear that part of it. I fear the day that eventually that no one will be there to hold the chair because I need help moving things, and at the moment I haven't yet found a way that would allow me to live completely independently in that respect. And that's another one of those things. It doesn't matter how much you try and fool yourself into believing you will find a way to do it. There's some things that all the positivity in the world and all my self-belief, which I don't actually have a lot of, if I'm honest. My own self-belief in regards to games is a lot better than my own real-life self-belief. Wondering how I'm gonna do half these things when my parents are not here anymore is something that you guys, no offense, and it's gonna sound harsh, you guys, no offense, hopefully will never have to worry about. And it's not about having people come in to help me, because I could have people come in to help me. It's trying to you get brought up trying to be independent and do your own thing, and yet the one thing that life here doesn't give you is all the things to be able to do that yourself. For you guys, you can. Or, well, for you guys in the majority of cases, you can. For me and Steve, in some circumstances, it's going to be a heck of a lot more difficult. And now I've got a magical bag just fallen on the floor. And that's the really funny thing, because if I go back to learning about how I've done things, I've taught myself to be able to get a pair of socks on basically just using two fingers. That's basically how I put a pair of socks on. Two fingers and then loop it around my foot, and then I get the socks on. It's not safe. The way that I do it, my mum doesn't know how I don't headbutt my foot plate. And it's all the general things like that that don't. You learn to just you learn to just do these things and not think about how you're doing some of them. But no, it's little things like that that I taught myself to do. It's not safe. It's yeah, exactly. Jay and Steve just summed it up perfectly with their two comments. Yeah, it's exactly that. Used to. It's exactly that. And yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying before, but there's another point to that. There is another point to that. Oh, thanks, Glennie. But it's let me type this out because it'll be easier. I'm not trying to sound rude when I said what I just said then. But a lot of the time I could be. But I need to try and put this. I have to keep typing because I can't talk it out. If I try and talk it out, I can't do it. Because that's what it comes down to. That's really what it is. I'm I'm forever having to wait for. Hmm. Damn it. Sorry, got cramp in my hand. Not just making funny hand things on the. Yeah, exactly, Steve, exactly. No, Leon. No, it's because I'm tense. But, no, so. Prep time. Because it's because I'm stressed. Talking about this, Leon, talking about this. Hey, Coca. You guys are the first person that I've told that to, funnily enough. But no, that's what they got told when I was younger, and that happened. That that was what they got asked. They got asked why did they not do that to give them a break. But and besides, Red, whichever way we look at it now, man, whichever way we look at it now, I hey Ivan, yeah. If that's the only thing that I have to keep in my head, I proved all the doctors wrong. Every one of them. Everyone that said I wasn't gonna be able to blow my nose, play computer games, move my hands, whatever. That's that's the one main thing that will always be the point that I go back to. Hey, Lauren. Oh, thanks. You summed it up well before. You summed it up well. For the longest, time now before. That was the one thing that I haven't done, sweetie. I kept running from it. It was another one of those things. I didn't want to. I didn't want to prioritize the good. I didn't see. I didn't see any good left. That's why. For better or worse, that was the. Ivan, how do I put this, Ivan? How do I put this? Ivan, after everything I've seen from doctors, Ivan, I would never go back down that road again. It's actually longer than 4,000. I think the grand total on my actual birthday stands at 4,383 days or something ridiculous. But no, when I don't want anyone thinking that they can't come to me with I don't want anyone thinking that they can't come to me with questions or things. And at the same time, I can't. I can't have anyone of too sensitive a disposition taking offence to anything that I say or laugh at in regards to myself. Or when others break jokes because they know it'll make me laugh. And that's the one thing. The one thing with me that. Yeah, I am Colca later. Later, Colca. I'll throw the stream up in the thing. It's the. Yeah, but Leon. If I don't talk about it, I'm going to end up worse. I spent 12 years not talking about it. That was what got me to this point. What got me to the. It got me to the point of not talking about it is what created this. If I'd actually had someone at the time to relate to like I've got now, I wouldn't have ended up in the mess that I'm in. So, dwelling on it is not something that I can't really. How can I put this? Because of the reminders that I have. Because of the reminders that I have, Leon, and there are reminders, I'm not saying what they are, but people know. I can't I can't not I can't not talk about it because the reminders are still there. If I sit there and don't talk, then all I do is end up worse. Where I was going with that, I forgot what I was talking about because I ended up lost where I was going with it. Final. What was I talking about? Because I need to get back to it for me to remember. Um. Oh. Exactly, Steve. Exactly, and that's why I did this. I'm not gonna cry, Ivan. I'm not gonna cry. I know it sounds like that because yeah. So when my that's what I was doing. Hang on, final. Give me 2 minutes. Right now, you guys can't see my face, so it works better that way. Um, in regards to people being oversensitive about the jokes that people make to make me laugh, if I laugh at the fact of me pretending to be shot out of a cannon and saying it won't hurt me, and then they make a joke saying, well, it's not like he's gonna feel it anyway, I'm not gonna take offense to that. I'm going. God damn it, Leon. I'm going to probably join in and agree to the fact that it is what it is. I'm going to agree with the fact that I probably won't feel it. I have limited feeling in one leg, for goodness sake. There's nothing about that that's really gonna get any better. The nerves are shot anyway, so it is what it is. I know, V4, I know. I'm okay though, V4, I'm okay. Yes and no, Steve, yes and no. Let me type this out because it'll be quicker than me trying to explain it. I know, Pedro, I know. Oh, excuse me, I've got wind, hang on. Because I'm getting stressed, that's why I've got wind. um, hello, Leon. Well, it would be, but I don't like beans, so that's not an issue. But basically, after that happened, I think it was only till maybe when I got to 11 or 12 and basically got too top heavy. Which by top heavy I mean that I was slightly larger and just tended to, yeah, the weight kind of weighed me down. Um, but yeah, um, then I ended up in a chair from that point onwards. Okay, V4, no worries. But no, from that point onwards, I pretty much ended up full time in the chair. Well, god damn it, Leon, god damn it. But no, that was basically, yeah, when I turned 11 or 12, that was the turning point. Hey, Kat, welcome. Um, and when that happened, Ivan, I'm not answering personal questions in this stream. God damn it. You're trying to make my life more difficult, boy. Hey, I told you this would happen. I told you this would happen. And yo, yeah. Where was I going with that? The wheelchair situation, yeah. The wheelchair situation happened till I was 12. And I ended up in that most of the time. Secondary school was fun. I kind of like secondary school was a bit different because my mum and dad fought to get me into a hang on. God damn it, Leon, calm down. Basically, because as it stood, the school where all my friends were going was the one that they fought to get me into, but if I'd got to in the one near us, which is like 20 minutes away, I would have had to be taught in the library. On my own. I would have ended up I would have ended up having to basically be taught in the library with no one else kind of thing. To which the head teacher at the time and my helper, who I'm still actually very good friends with now, like we email each other every couple of weeks. He they basically said just keep fighting and basically we'll make sure that he's got a space there. And so we did that. I got in there. I was very well. I was quite lucky, if I'm honest. I was one of very. I was lucky because I was the disabled guy, but I didn't end up. I wasn't bullied. I was very lucky. I was actually friends with the people that were apparently bullies. But I don't know if that was true or not, but put it this way, they put out basically if anyone was to touch me, then yeah. I was protected. That would be the best way for me to put it. And for the guys that were apparently two of the baddest in school, they never actually caused me a problem. Hey Josh. Um which was quite fortunate for me in an aspect, but also I was just very lucky, I would say. Because everyone that I seem to have met from that point onwards, everyone has managed to teach me a different lesson. Some of them are some of them are easy lessons, some of them have been difficult lessons. It's all they're all they're all really odd. They've all been really odd lessons. Steve, I had that one as well. I had that one as well. In fact, actually, hey Shazzy. In fact, if I'm gonna be able to relate to that story, Steve, then I'll do it now, and that way it's out of the way. There is a person, and Kaya knows of the person because we have talked about him in quite a few of my stories. He was a friend at one point in time. Now he's more an acquaintance that I never see, and kind of I'm happy that I never see because he. What's the best way to put this? I can't end up. I can't call him what I want to call him on the stream. But yeah, I had a very shall we say, affectionate nickname for him because of the fact that he was a bit of an arse. But he basically believed that because of the fact that I can hold myself up, he goes, one day we're gonna see that basically you not being able to walk is that one works, Steve. That one works. But yeah, no, Steve's one works, but that was what I called him. But he basically assumed that because of the fact that I could hold myself up, yeah, he was manipulative in other ways, Seth. I will explain it. That was the affectionate nickname that I came up with for him because he was, he was a manipulative little Sancho and other things. No, just timed out. Just timed out, Ivan. Be right back. In a sense, Steve, yes, in a sense. But I was I was one of the few, Steve, that tried to be as nice to him as possible. And when I tried when I tried to exactly when I tried to get the others to be nice to him because I wanted it to work that way, he yeah, in a way, Nirvana, in a way. He yeah, Kai summed it up well. Kai summed it up well. Um yeah, that's a good one, Shazzy. It's 100% Dick. God, you typed that twice. There we go. That's the best way for me to put it. But no, that he basically two of my friends at the time had to do a lot of work. One night that I had a party. I hold giant house parties every summer. I invite all my uni friends. We get absolutely wankered. They 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 go home with a hangover. and I end up still sober because it doesn't matter how much I drink, I can't get hammered. Yes, Sazzy. Yes, Sazzy. That was a very good understanding of the situation that we're in. Yeah, that's actually the proper statement, Sazzy. Good job. And yeah, they two of my friends basically had to try and put me back together that night because he just carried on going on and on and on. And my friend Kat at the time, her and them just basically had to put me back together. But it was one of those things. It was, hey, Dada. But no, that's another one of those. It's a confidence thing, so I'm lacking in confidence of things. And yeah. Dada, it's about a lot of things. You'd have to watch from the beginning if you really want to understand. I can't rush through everything that we're talking. We talked about Jack Daniels and Coke shots. No, no, Josh. It's vodka or gin shots. That's the only alcohol that I drink. Dada, it's not happening. It's not happening. But no, there's. It was mainly the whole thing. This vlog has been about. Yeah. The whole thing this has been about is trying to get you guys to understand that if any of you have a problem, then you can come and talk to me. And and because of the way that I work, if my dark humor is too dark at times, wow, Sheffy, wow. I need to remember that one for personal experience. I need to remember that one, Sheffy. I might well quote that one. Um, congrats, Josh. Congrats. Yeah. Basically, the main point of this whole vlog has been number one. If my dark humor gets too dark, you guys are gonna have to deal with it. And number two, if people making jokes about me that I will find funny are hilarious to me, you guys shouldn't feel oversensitive about it. If you feel oversensitive about it, you really are in the wrong place. Because put it this way, I could tone it down, but it's gonna be as boring as anything. And if it becomes that boring, I'm going to lose half of what gives me the ability to stream quite as effectively as I do. And I guess if I'm gonna embrace both sides of me, the both halves, the light side, the dark side, and whatever the other me is, I need you guys to all be on the same hymn sheet, for lack of a better word. Hey Venom, it's been a while, dude. Hope you're well. But yeah, it wouldn't be my stream. It wouldn't be my stream if I didn't do it the way that I'm gonna do it. And right, I need to word this correctly and word it in a way that makes sense. And if people I need to think about how I'm gonna word this, so I'm gonna shut my eyes and think about it and try my best to word it effectively. Good to hear, Venom. Good to hear. A low one, low one. If someone damn it, Leon. That's alright, Steve. No, I know what you're saying, Steve. You're trying to get me to just say it as opposed to trying to fumble around the bush about it. Well, no. 369, 12 minutes. Christ. Right. If Kaya, calm down. Kaya, calm down. Stop hitting the timeout button. Stop hitting the timeout button. 3 was enough. 3 was enough. Christ. Right. No trigger happy. Or else I'm gonna have to take the loaded gun away. Right. Right. Let me get back to the point I was making. If people feel that I'm going to, yeah, I'm hyped, dude. I'm hype one. I'm hype. Well, apparently, Kaya, it said you clicked it 9 times, which meant he would have been banned for like 12 to 15 minutes. If I still don't know how I'm gonna say this because whichever way I say it is gonna sound like I'm taking sides and I'm not. Fuck. Fuck, I hate this when I can't put my words together. Don't say loaded gun. um if anyone here thinks that anyone is overruled by anyone else, mods wise or whatever, that's not the way it is. In fact, part of this was the reason that I did this stream today. It's not just it's not just me trying to get you guys to embrace what I'm trying to embrace. It's me trying to say that if it seems like there was a favourite, there wasn't. It's just Leon v4, just Leon. Shut up, Final, shut up. It's all about understanding, and that's what it is. But I never wanted you guys to feel like I'm picking favourites, because I'm not. It's about learning to understand things and things like that. And I can't consciously keep apologizing for every dark humoured thing that I say. It's not it's not fair on me to try and keep doing it. It's not fair on the mods feeling like if they say a joke that they're gonna feel in trouble for it. It's fuck. Lost the word again. It's all about levels of sensitivity, and in regards to me, apart from the C word, which I really don't like people using, and yet the trolls seem to get a kick out of calling me that. Um, it it feels I've got a fuck. I'm losing the word. I'm losing the word. I know, Venom. I know, but I need to try and get the word out. I don't want it to feel like there's being factions of splinters, if that makes sense, or splintered factions. But I also can't just turn my dark humor off and find a way of coping. And this is the hardest thing that my mother cannot get. And she knows because we don't talk about it. Because I can't talk about it. For everything that I've told you guys today and everything that I've told other people today, because that's enough of a thing. Having met you guys is honestly the greatest thing that could have happened. But some of you being that close to me has helped to teach me new lessons. There are things that I've talked about with some of you that I wouldn't have talked about with you 19 months ago if that thing had never happened. And the other person you've never met. And if you'd met her and seen the way she is with me, well, it's very funny. She is very similar, and she was one of the first ones. She doesn't treat me any different. In fact, well, me and her have made a lot of wheelchair jokes as well, and they're not particularly good ones. They're all kind of very close to the they're all kind of very close to the edge. They make people feel awkward. Me and her think it's brilliant. We like those levels of making people feel awkward because we don't look at it as awkward. We just look at it as her treating me like a normal guy. And that's the funny thing. If you guys met her for the first time, it would, yeah. Well, God, if you think the chat here is bad, if she was here as well, it would be a heck of a lot worse. That's all I'm gonna say. But no, it's you can unban him now, Red. Red, you only had to time him out. You didn't need to ban him. I'll just undo it now. I'm There we go, it's back. I want you all to feel that you can come to me if you ever need to talk to me. And don't think I'm picking favourites. Because I'm really not. It's really that I'm not picking favourites. It's just that even now, only part of. I've only told you a very small part of everything that happened. Because to tell you the whole thing would take me a lot more time than what you guys will probably have. And, not just that. Hang on, let me type this out because it'll be easier. Yeah, okay, Chef. You're gonna have to join the queue, boy. You're gonna have to join the queue. Lol, Chef. Yeah, exactly, Steve. I guess that would have been. Why the heck could you have not been there a minute ago, Steve, when I needed that? And Dada, no N-word. God damn it, Dada. No race. Right, now. Because otherwise I'm gonna lose track of what I'm. That's gonna be the other point I'm gonna make. The amount of people in the last. No, Dada just needs to be learned to be controlled. Right, let's go. That's one of the hardest things, what I just wrote there. Before today, only 2 or 3 people mainly knew exactly how far that had gone. In the last 12 years, well, besides you guys today, you only 3 people up to 3 to 5 people maximum really know the whole thing. And to actually even get that far, you spend 12 years in silence and pretending to think that you're gonna. And trying to self preservate is really dangerous. Okay, Cat, take care. Thanks for popping by. And I will try and remember that. Um, spending 12 years in silence is not healthy. Not healthy. It's not a good thing. I wouldn't recommend anyone attempting it because it is dangerous. In fact, one of the others ended up cracking it up because the funniest thing with me is every time someone asks if I end up getting friend zoned, it's not that I believe that the friend zone doesn't exist. And if anything, with me, the only person that ends up friend zoning himself is me. Because I will never say anything to a girl or whatnot. I will just end up not saying anything. Because in my eyes, it's easier to not say anything and not get turned down than it is to actually say something and still get shot down. So that's the way that it works. And so it makes me laugh when people say that zone exists because it doesn't. There, if you're lacking in confidence and whatever else, then you're lacking in confidence. And the only way you get out of that no confidence zone is to do the things that scare the shit out of you, to be fair. If you want my honest opinion, sometimes sometimes you've got to end up like throwing yourself out of that situation to be able to attempt it. And I did, and I have once. I'm not saying what happened or how it turned out or how many times, because there's no need for you guys to know that story. But put it this way, my first attempt didn't go particularly well, but I can laugh at that now because it taught me a lesson. And the best thing is, even for that lesson, me and that girl in question are still best friends after all of this. So that's the thing that she taught me. I had to learn the important lesson 19 months ago when I met her. And the lesson that I learned, and the lesson that I think everybody could learn, is if you can separate the two things, so being friends with someone and being in a relationship with someone, and you actually care about them, you can still remain the best of friends afterwards. It's not just you have to give up on that relationship. If you're adult enough and sensible enough to talk about the situation, you can fix anything in that response. And believe me, I've been there. I've had to at times apologize. I'm not saying when or why, because it's another one of those that really doesn't matter. But no, it's one of those things that really is quite a easy one to do, that type thing. And it took me a long time to get to that point, but I feel like I'm heading in the right direction. And after 12 years, well, it'll be 12 years in 2 months' time, I can finally see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't mean that in a negative way, I do mean it in a positive way. I finally can see something worthwhile. Yeah, exactly, Steve. That's exactly it. And Dada, I'm gonna get back onto that subject in a minute. I was just veering off topic because I like to do that. Right, next. Now that I'm at the end of that story and not telling you the rest of the story, because there's no need for it. Right. Under no circumstances is anyone in this chat who be racist, homophobic, xenophobic, or whatever type of phobic under any circumstances. Because if anyone does that from this day forward, and I'm gonna say it once and once only, and this will be a thing that the mods will, if you end up accidentally saying it and getting yourself banned, that's not my fault. And if anyone does it and doesn't apologise for it, if I'm willing to give them a second chance, that's also your fault. It's not my fault. But under no circumstances is anyone gonna make that word. What, you talking about my hair gone messy again? Yeah, it's because I'm getting agitated, Ivan. That's why. But no, in regards to me, any jokes that anyone makes are fair game. In regards to using racist terminology in this chat, I will not stand for it under any circumstances. Dada, I forgive you because you said sorry. But if you do it again from this day forward, I'm gonna ban you so quickly your ass won't touch the ground. It won't so much be you'll be flying. It will be You wouldn't have realised that you left the ground before I managed to do it. And Venom, you already suffered one ban, didn't you, Venom? So you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, if you end up putting those words in again, there's no returning. You got away. You got one reprieve. I can't offer two. No, Steve. Most of yours have been fine. Most of yours have been fine. No, Josh, you're fine. But no, I felt like I needed that. How long are the bans for? That's a very difficult one, Leon. Because if I go too easily, then yeah, Venom remembers well. Venom remembers well. If I go too easily, you guys are all going to end up flouting it. So I can't do that. Before, calm down. It's fine. Josh, calm down with the am I annoyings because otherwise you're going to get timed out. But no, I needed to say that because if I hadn't said it, you guys wouldn't have. Yeah, for the most part, if you are, yeah, Venom remembers what happened. Venom remembers. Yes, you can still be annoying, Dada. Just don't end up doing what you did before. Because otherwise, banhammer. Say anything racist, xenophobic, whatever, you're getting banned. Say anything I deem past to the things, you're getting banned. Say anything that my mods consider past the thing of normal, then depending on the mod, and whoever you pissed off, I may not be able to dig you out of the hole that you've dug yourself into. I may well give you a shovel to hit yourself over the head with for being stupid, but it won't be. Yeah, Ivan, I remembered that one. I remembered that one, Ivan. It's in the rules list anyway. But no, that was the other thing that I was getting onto. I needed to get that out because it's been bugging me for the last however many days. Now, is there anything else while I'm on the list of things, list of cycles? And I'm actually shattered now because it's taken a lot out of me to do this. It's the most I've typed and talked. But damn it. Every minute, I feel like he needs to. It's good to see that my messages are getting listened to. No, Ivan, she's just listening. She's just listening to me talk. It's just what we. Me doing this way is pretty much just how I talk normally. The only thing is, I've just done this on a different thing. Right, is there anything else? Is there anything else? Because I can't actually remember. I know, Steve. I know. I'm trying to think if I missed anything, and generally trying to think if there's anything I can tell you guys. But I don't think it is. No, I don't hate you, Josh. I don't hate you. I'm just glad that I was able to clear the air and you guys can. You guys feel like you. I hope. Yeah. Fuck. Sorry. Speech is gone again, so I'm gonna just end up cursing. No, the main reason for me doing this, above all else, was so that you guys could know that you can come and talk to me about anything. And just for me to generally be a little bit more open. And, okay, I'm gonna go back because I missed one thing. The one thing. Okay, deep breath, Brett. Because if I don't do it this way, I'm gonna end up losing my. The one thing that today was not about, and I need to make this point because if I don't, it's going to end up getting lost in translation. I do not want you, under any circumstances, to feel sorry for me. That was not what this was about. This was about me being able to give you guys a better understanding of why I am the way I am. It's not. It wasn't about you guys feeling sorry or feeling bad for things that were said. Or for you guys to even feel guilty. I had to say things that had been on my mind for quite a while. It wasn't. At the end of the day, I never want anyone to feel like they can't come into the chat because of the things that I say. But at the same time, trying to not be me was what caused this predicament. And trying to fool myself into believing I was going to have an invisible dream is an invisible dream that would turn out to be a good thing as opposed to a thing that was realistic is not healthy. And by not healthy, I mean it's bad of me to live a life that is a lie. For lack of a better word. Well, it's not, it's a lie. I built a set of walls up because I didn't want to deal with the situation. And I can't not keep not dealing with the situation because that's the complete opposite. Because otherwise it's going to be another 12 years that pass and I'll still be no closer to having learned anything. But I am how I am. From this day forward, for lack of a better word, it's gonna have to be you either take me as what I am or Steve, you summed it up perfectly. You summed it up perfectly. Because Dada, you knew exactly what you were doing. I mean, if I'm honest, it would be really easy to live in that dream world that I built up. In fact, that dream world is what That dream world is what created this, in a sense. Half of my stream persona is part of the person that I want to be, and the other half of me is the two sides of me still fighting for trying to find a place. But no, that's the end. Because I think I've now said everything that I wanted to say. But no, mainly I just want you all to feel that you can. You've summed it up, Steve. You've summed it up perfectly there. And what the unthinkable is, I'm not writing, but it should be simple enough for you guys to figure out what I am saying when I say that. Because that was the point that I reached. It was. Well, after that time, I was in a very, very bad place. But no, there's somewhere I could go with that, but there's a place that it will. Hey Eric, it's been a while, dude. No, Eric was fine, Kyle. Eric was fine. I think. I don't know what he said though. I didn't understand. I know, Seffi, I know. You guys constantly threaten to kick my ass when I'm in that mood, so. No, Eric's been here ages, Kyle. Eric's been here ages. He just turns up occasionally. But no, that's the end of that particular vlog. But yeah, thanks to everyone. Right, let me explain that last part. Before, but oh damn it! Before you've only gained half of the understanding that I'm trying to. Oh wow. It was never gonna walk, Steve. It would just be a few steps, but it was just unfortunate the way the situation turned out. And I do V4, but some days it gets Some days before it gets tiring to keep fighting. It's not. Okay, I'll leave this as the final point, and I need to try and explain this in a way that comes across. There's a difference between. I'm gonna have to use a bunch of clad stripe metaphors because Safi, you know what I'm like. You know how much me I consider in my other half. There's a difference between fighting to prove a point and there's a difference between fighting to prove a point and fighting to I can't think of the word that I want and it's gonna bug me because and there are people worse off Leon. That's what I said about it making me selfish earlier. Because in a way, for the last 11 years, the one thing that I've been searching for, Seth, this will make you laugh, is a sense of identity. That's what I lost 11 years ago. When I, for a lack of a better word, metaphorically died. It wasn't. I didn't die literally, metaphorically. Because everything changed that day on my birthday. Part of me all this time has been trying to look for. has been trying to look for that identity that I lost because I can't go back to being the person I was before. And I guess that scared me in a sense, yeah. I guess it scared me. Because because I keep waking up hoping that I'll go back to that person. And it's not gonna happen. I know, Seth. I know, Crier. Steve, that's a really nice story for you to share. Okay, Steve. Seeing, seeing as you shared that story, then I'll share one of mine. And my best friend, my best friend won't hold it to me because of the fact that and my best friend won't take offense to this because he he was the one that said it. So basically, my best friend, he lives in Manchester. He he was the first person that learned about all this, all me and everything. Hey DSP, by the way. And oh, sorry, Steve. Um, but no, when we met, we talked about a lot of things. So she was talking about turning my chair into a transformer robot, and actually, and she won't kill me for saying this because I'll tell her that I've told you guys. No, no. There we go. That was her one goal. That was her one goal. That was her one goal. That's been her main. That was actually that's what she said to me in the past. That was her one goal that she was working towards. But no, she is literally as crazy as me. She thinks she can turn my chair and me into a transformer robot. She literally, well, she she pretty much said if anyone hurts me, then God forbid if she catches up with them. It's quite funny. Um, she yeah, she was the first person to know all this. And actually, when I told her, it scared me shitless. I'm not gonna lie, it did. Uh, I don't think I've ever feared telling someone so many things and hoping that she won't run away. And it's been the same for every person that I've told lately. I fear telling people because I'm worried they're gonna go running for the hills. That's the way it's always been. Yeah, I'm quite shy, Beards. I'm quite shy. But no, my stream persona and my in real life persona are two different things. I know, Steve. I know, dude. I know. You're gonna run or teleport. He's only saying that to try and get a laugh out of him towards Brett to kick his ass. Wow, Kyle. Well. But no, that was the story, Steve. That was the story. But no, that's where I'm gonna stop the stream there, I think, because I've covered everything. I covered everything that I wanted to say in that stream, and that was everything. But thanks for watching, everyone, and take care. And I hope it allowed you to better understand me a little bit more. Take care, everyone.